Do we trust Gareth Southgate? Is Southgate prepared enough for this tournament? Two huge questions that we're going to dive into in this video. England are the focus of this preview, and we're going to look at just what this squad offers and whether there is scope for this team to actually go on and win a World Cup, win this World Cup. We all know that this is an England team that has a lot of good qualities in a lot of areas. There are two problems to overcome though. Firstly, just how much do the shortcomings of this squad affect their chance of winning the World Cup? And secondly, is it too late for Southgate to come up with the tactics that win England the World Cup? Of course, I want to know your feelings on this one. Get involved in the comments down below, and in the meantime, I'll let you know what we can expect from England. If you are new to the channel, make sure you check out all the previews that we're going to be doing, and for the World Cup, it's going to be hectic. I'm going to be out there, and I cannot wait. So this is the channel for you. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well. So, what can we expect when it comes to England? Well, against lesser teams, England were dominant in qualifying. 10-0 against San Marino, 5-0 against Albania. Scorelines that obviously demonstrate this. If you think of the 2-1-1 draws against Poland and Hungary, they didn't seem like any real cause for concern at the time because qualification was pretty much guaranteed. But it is now a cause for concern following on from the Nations League campaign. And is negativity a tactical issue that needs addressing when it comes to Gareth Southgate's side? That's definitely a question mark when it comes to this team going into this tournament. In the Nations League, we are all aware that it took England until their last game, in which they were already knocked out, to score from open play. Therefore, should we expect to see a negative England at the World Cup? Or will Southgate make radical changes? So when it comes to formation, system and tactical approach, the formation is very likely to be the 3-4-3 that Southgate trusts, with wingbacks encouraged to move forward in support of the wingers, with Kane, of course, in attack. This isn't the boldest of strategies, and against the bigger teams, it doesn't create all that much. In qualifying, England averaged 5.1 big chances per game over the 10 matches, which is great. In the Nations League, they only averaged 1.7. The lack of a number 10 does limit how much England are able to create, and despite having Kane in the side, who is obviously able to drop deep and act as a sort of half 10, and he's amazing at it, it doesn't always fix the problem, as England only effectively have 3 forwards on the pitch, regardless of how much the wing-backs want to bomb on forward. So the problem with this is that you're placing all the faith in the wide players, and there isn't a substitute tactic to have more dominance in the central area of the final third. If Kane drops deeper to link the play, then the opposing centre-back's task, it becomes a lot easier, right? Because he's dropping into that area there. They don't have to really concern themselves with that, and there's less danger higher up the pitch. Whereas with a 10, England would be able to allow Kane to occupy those centre-backs. With Bellingham in the side, there is scope for some attacking dynamism centrally. The only problem with this is that if you ask him to get forward too much, it leaves Declan Rice isolated in the middle, and England then are susceptible in transitions. A way to get the best out of Bellingham may be by playing a midfield 3 and allowing him some more license to move forward and to create. The problem with this is that it involves trusting a back 4. The right back problem. Now, right back seems like a minor issue for England, with Reece James now very likely to miss the tournament. I think this is a good opportunity to preview what the different right backs England have at their disposal to offer this system. Trent Alexander-Arnold, first of all, of course, everyone likes to talk about him. It is an interesting talking point. We've seen Trent's defensive frailties at times this season, and he may not be heading into the World Cup with the highest level of confidence. However, the wing-back position may suit him. Despite never playing in a back 5 for Liverpool, his qualities as a player make him a suitable candidate for this position, especially if Kyle Walker is playing as the right-sided centre-back. He's a defender comfortable covering, of course, the right-back position, as well as being athletic enough to sweep in behind Trent if teams do target the ball in behind. Trent also has the ability to come inside into narrow positions if called upon. I don't think Southgate fancies it. I don't think he's, let's use it, brave enough to go for this, but Trent could give you that unique tactical opportunity, and here is what it would look like. With Trent in the side, it would be possible for the side to turn into a 4-3-3 when in possession of the ball. This could free up Bellingham to move further forward whilst also maintaining a midfield presence. It would also allow England to utilise Trent's ability to switch the ball brilliantly, as he does consistently for Liverpool. The other option, of course, Kieran Trippier. He's probably the most balanced right back in the England setup at this moment in time. And with Reece James out, of course, and his performances for Newcastle this season, he massively throws his hat into the ring and puts him in contention for the spot. I think the key thing to remember is that Southgate just absolutely loves him, trusts him. And at the Euros, he deployed Trippier at left back early on in a sort of elbow system just to get him in the team, because there's just such a high level of trust. I think in particular without the ball, this is a marker of how much he trusts him. And Trippier has been excellent this season in allowing Almiron to maintain a high average position for Newcastle United, and the winger has massively benefited from having Trippier behind him in that supporting role. So Southgate might see value in starting Trippier to allow Sterling to stay higher up the pitch, or Thogden to stay higher up the pitch, which would allow England to stretch the opposition that little bit more. Let's talk Plan B. I think he's a really good artist and I enjoyed some of his films, but also when we're thinking about Plan B for England, this England system has its flaws. For example, it lacks a cutting edge to really slice through an opponent that sits back and asks them to break them down. So if a side is comfortable defending wide areas and comfortable defending balls into the box, then England, they seem to run out of ideas. So secondly, if England go a goal down, then they have to push up the field and become vulnerable in transition. Southgate has dabbled with a 4-3-3 in the Nations League, but it was the same problem. Because of his reluctance to play a 10, there was a lack of movement between the lines, and we've seen it at Spurs this season as to how they struggled without a plan B, and it could be a similar problem for England. Will Southgate have enough time to devise this secondary tactic? Probably not, because literally the Premier League season's finishing on the 13th, the tournament starting on the 20th. Really, the Nations League should have been the opportunity to do that, but with no wins in the competition, it didn't give England any insight into what works and what doesn't work. They might now need to experiment in the group games, which could be a recipe for disaster. Hopefully not. So, could you play Kane as a 10? With England having the likes of Tony and Abraham available for selection, the natural plan B for me would be using either one of these as a target man and allowing Kane to play in behind them as a second striker. You could also play Rashford if they decide to take him. Put Rashford in that team to sort of play as an advanced forward and stretch it, create more space for Kane as well. And this would allow England to get Kane on the ball far more, and would also give him a lot of shooting opportunities as well outside the box, which we know is lethal. And with a big physical presence taking up the opposition centre-backs, it could also benefit Kane in receiving the ball more often if you use Tony or Abraham. This might not be something England start with, but could be a useful tactic if they go a goal down and to need to shake up their system. Let's talk key players. Kyle Walker. For me, Kyle Walker is one of the most important players England have. He offers so much when defending wide areas, and his pace is a quality that not many England centre-backs have. The only other centre-back who matches him for pace is Tomori, and for some reason Southgate doesn't want to go near him at this moment in time. He likes his guys. Walker gives the right wing-back a platform to attack as frequently as possible, and this is a must for England to ensure the forwards aren't isolated. So his experience, it also can't be underestimated, with the defender having 70 caps to his name. His fitness for the tournament would be a huge, huge plus. Harry Kane, of course, getting the ball to Harry Kane and giving him a supply line will be the way England win matches. It's a proven fact that he can score for England in big matches, as he did against Germany in the Euros. Creating chances for Kane and finding him as much as possible is a must for England if they are able to have any kind of success in this tournament. So there is a lot of tactical things you could do with this England team, but I think the downfall may be the reluctance of Southgate to trust the talented players that he has and just let them get on with it. Look, he's a cautious manager, and I think he doesn't trust his players enough to play a back four with the centre-back problem that we have in terms of pace and form and fitness. And I think it's an issue of quality. However, I think it may be the system that is the issue. A lot of the players in the England squad can play in a back four and do so for their clubs and have been doing so over the last 18 months or so. So I think the shackles are on a bit with Southgate. Again, I'm going to use that word. He possibly lacks the ability to be cavalier enough or brave enough in really taking the handbrake off. That said, that sensible approach has worked so well in tournament football. And although it's one where we go on, just have a go at them, time and again, so far, it has worked. But the lead up, of course, isn't great when it comes to the form of the side. If they can remain solid and make it difficult for the opposition, there is no true ceiling to what can be achieved. What if? That's the big question with England. What if they can do it? Because the personnel is there. In tournament football, you don't have to always be the better side. If you have quality players in the side, then it is sometimes enough. And we saw Messi carrying Argentina to a final single-handedly, and England have got so many more stars than that in their squad, and they're capable of creating something from nothing. So the problem, of course, is in possession against the better team, and if this game plan that he has really sort of drilled down on and it has roots now, if it is one that will bear fruit. That is the biggest question, and time will tell. Do I think England are going to win the World Cup? I probably don't, but why not? Let me know how you feel about this. Make sure you check out the other previews that are still to come. And of course, my predictions will be coming soon as well on the channel as well. As I said, I will be in Qatar for the World Cup. I don't get tired of saying that. And so I'm going to get as much content as possible for you. Hopefully it'll be great. So subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time.